Over to us actually, Ronnie. So
yep, no, that's good. I like that. We're going to turn.
I'll get a pivot down to Jacob. As Ronnie's got audio, we've got picture. Player of the game here to Jared Bairstow and Jacob Dool.
Yes, down here with Jared Bairstow. Jared, finals win in front of a big crowd, plenty of noise. How much fun is a game like that to play in?
Yeah, it's a heck of a lot of fun. We haven't had our full squad together for most of the season, so it's starting to come together, trying to get it together really quickly. I'd say that's the best we've played as a team in terms of just spreading the ball amongst us. We've got enough talent to do it. We've just got to keep that ball moving, and we look real good. Yeah,
I was going to say, Harry Frolling's obviously the team MVP. Not his biggest scoring game, but you have so many guys step up and fill the void, you included in that. How nice is it to know you've got so many options like that?
I mean, that's the great thing about it. It doesn't have to be everyone's night on any given night, but as long as there's enough people to get the job done. We're a pretty deep team. Like, even the guys coming off the bench are hell of a players. They've done a great job for us all year, so we got numbers. We just got to keep running with it.
And for you individually, you top scored last time against Sandringham, and you've done it again tonight. What is it about this matchup that works for you? What are you seeing out there tonight that was working?
Oh, look, I just got to come out and be aggressive with this group. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just something. You come out and be aggressive, and sometimes things go your way.
And now a home preliminary final to look forward to next week. How important was it to get that locked in on your home floor here?
Yeah, it was massive for us. I mean, no one wants to play a double header during the finals. You'd much rather come in fresh and ready to go, have an extra couple of days of practice. So, yeah, it's huge for us. Rest the legs and be ready to go on Sunday.
Congrats again on the win tonight. We'll see you here again in a week's time. Back up to you, Ronnie and JB.
Thank you very much there, Jacob. And we'll get Jacob to come back upstairs as well too. And, well, that was a bit of a seesawing affair there, JB, at one stage. And then once that lead kind of rattled out to double digits, it just seemed like Sandringham just couldn't seem to pull that margin back.
Yeah, it looked like that 15 point margin was a game-winning margin. We talk about it a lot, particularly at local level, Ronnie, where there are just, there are margins that pretty much just set the tone for the rest of the game. Jacob, I'll be interested in your opinion on that as well. Ronnie and I were just saying, there are games and there are points where there just seems to be margins that eventually, they clearly put the game out of reach. And that 13, 15-point margin for Hobart, there were a couple of times there, the Sabres, they rolled back in, they got it to 9 points, they got it to 7 points, they brought it back to 10 points, but they just couldn't get over that lip and just didn't quite have that extra step. And you would have to say, with Brewster and, of course, Shea Ely out, that could have been a different question, but they just couldn't get it over that little hump.
Absolutely. It felt like it was on the precipice of getting out of hand for pretty much that whole second half. It was just around that 10 points. Sandringham did a pretty good job to keep it close-ish or close enough to stay in it for a lot of that. Sort of grounded out defensively, but they just couldn't find enough shot making to get the job done in the end. And as we mentioned during the broadcast, Brewster and Ely, two of their leading scorers, certainly plays a big part, just as Harry Frolling missing the last encounter between these teams played a big part. So we're left here sitting and wondering what might happen if both teams are at full strength in this matchup.
And now the interesting part will be, who do we play next week? So it's going to be interesting Friday, Saturday. It looks like we're a Sunday fixture at the moment. I'm not sure of that confirmation.
Yeah, prelim finals will be a Sunday, as far as I know, will be a Sunday fixture. And of course, we do talk about the other side of this with the Sabres, that they're playing a back-to-back, a double header. They're playing at least 2 games in, you would say, 3 days. You would think that they'll have a semi-final Friday night from here. Otherwise, they might be, it's going to be really interesting to see a semi-final Saturday and a prelim final Sunday. But, that'll be unprecedented as well to see a side that deep, such as Sandringham, that have high commitments at national and international level. For them to try and back up, Jacob, there's a lot of physical toll on this Sandringham side. Of course, there would have been a very similar toll for Hobart, but the comfort that they potentially now don't need to fly until a conference championship in 2 weeks' time has to be a relief. But for Sandringham, they are going to need to get on a bicycle, and they are pedalling uphill at this stage.
Absolutely, and it's a long uphill now with that back-to-back potentially, as you said. That fixturing just made winning tonight's game all the more crucial. Not only do you skip one step in the process, you just give yourself that extra rest before playing off for the grand final spot. So you'd think that physical toll has to come back to bite Sandringham eventually, but can they just hold it off for long enough to find their way to the grand final?
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out next weekend. Of course, semi-finals Friday and Saturday night. And
prelim final Sunday.
Prelim final Sunday. And what a crowd here tonight, isn't it? The crowd is course, crowds trying to get out either end of the stadium here.
Yeah, they've just realised there is a secondary option.
Yes, there is. But great crowd here tonight. Again, well supported by the general public here in Hobart, and it can only be a good thing. It certainly helped with Hobart there in that game.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the big positives from this NBL 1 season right across the country. You tune into pretty much any game on the live stream, or you go along in person, and there's always a good crowd in there, and I think that's one thing that's been really exciting about the last couple of years, and especially this season in Australian basketball, just the support from the public.
I think it's really developed that home crowd advantage too. Like, a lot of sides are now seeing that, okay, if you come down to Hobart, at worst, they're going to have 800 people over the top of you, and they're only supporting one team. And, you know, it was only the little things tonight, like it was 2 or 3 quick turnovers for the Sabres. The crowd can sense it. It's an air ball. The crowd senses it. You know, you go on the road, there are a couple of moments during the year as well where you've seen multiple times there just where, you know, players would get crossed over, where players would have fouls, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, all of a sudden you're playing from behind. And once again, you know, that battle there for the Sabres as well. We talk about the 6-man on the bench, which is crucial for these road teams to take the crowd out of it and bring their own bench in. But, you know, for Hobart, all of a sudden you hit a couple of big shots and you've got 1,000 people raining down on you. It's a different kind of atmosphere. So, you know, maybe that's the advantage that some teams are looking for when they go to the conference and the national titles, that you're on a neutral venue. So that whole home and away advantage, construe that as you will. At the end of the day, you're on a neutral venue and you're playing for a championship. So, you know, again, Sabres, I'll play in front of a home crowd next week, either Friday, Saturday for Hobart. They're going to want to build, you know, a 9-10 day build to build a 1,200 strong crowd, go out with a bang here in Tassie, and hopefully, at worst, bring home a South Conference title, let alone a national title.
Yep, well, in the end, it was Hobart pretty much kind of, you know, showing their dominance from start to finish. But though Smith-Milner was threatening in that first half, but then all of a sudden Hobart were able to utilise that depth that they have and, you know, run this one out. 18-point winners, 73-55 is our final scoreline. Our player of the game, Jared Bairstow, who was pivotal down the stretch, playing with 4 fouls, mind you, but was able to get the job done and finish out the game. That means our coverage of the finals will continue here next weekend. We believe it will be a Sunday fixture, and we'll get some confirmation from the league over the next 24 to 48 hours. But for now, we are signing off here from the Southern Tasmanian Netball Centre. On behalf of Jacob Dool, Justin Bryan, I've been Ronald Riggs, and you have been tuning in to the Coles Express 2022 NBL1, 2022 Coles Express NBL1 Final Series. There we go, we got it in the end. We will see you next weekend from Creek Road.